let's talk about telecom. Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the 8th edition of the India Mobile Congress yesterday. Bharti Airtel Sunil Mittal has called for laws to ensure that satellite companies like Elon Musk's Starlink pay license fee and buy spectrum. Let's actually listen to that soundbite.
And those satellite companies who have ambitions to come into urban areas serving elite retail customers just need to take the telecom licenses like everybody else. This is a simple solution which can be done on a global scale, and India can again show the way in this particular regard.
Okay, well, the minister, Jyotiraditya Scindia, of course, ruled out an auction stating that spectrum will be allocated to satellite communication companies at the price determined by the regulator. Not for free, but no auction as well. Listen.
For Satcom, spectrum will be allocated administratively. Now, that does not mean that spectrum does not come without a cost. What that cost is and what the formula of that costing is going to be will not be decided by you or me. It will be decided by TRAI. And there is a paper that has already been circulated by TRAI, and we have a regulatory authority for telecom, and that regulatory authority of telecom has been empowered by the Constitution to decide what that administrative pricing is going to be.
And Mr. Elon Musk obviously is watching all these developments in India very, very carefully, because on the platform X, in response to another post, Elon Musk said, and I quote, that this is much appreciated. We will do our best to serve the people of India with Starlink. So the battle lines have been drawn between international biggies in satellite communications like Starlink and, of course, Indian incumbents like Jio and Bharti, which are fighting hard to protect their turf. Because, in that speech, Mr. Mittal, in fact, went on to talk about how much investment Indian service providers have made to lay out these terrestrial networks to build the entire fabric, 4G, 5G, etc. So, that's where we are at. I think we have, some experts also joining in.
One thing,
Yeah.
I think this is a basic thing which I don't know, but I'm just putting it out there. Maybe our experts can answer that the spectrum which was so hard fought, right, in those auctions in 2009, which was the big one, the first big one, and then later on for the 700, the 800 megahertz, 900 megahertz. Not all spectrum frequency is in short supply. I'm not sure, at least, whether the spectrum that we're talking about is the same spectrum which was so hard fought in auctions, or whether this is some other spectrum.
Something entirely different for satellite communication.
Correct, which could be in abundance. So it does not necessarily have to be the same spectrum which is being allotted now, which was auctioned earlier. So that's just one point. But I think we'll have to check with experts.
Absolutely. We need to get into more technical details, because this is the new frontier, so to speak, where the battle lines have been drawn. We have Prakash Diwan with us to take the conversation forward. Of course, Amnish has been in conversation with us in any case. So telecom is in focus, gentlemen. Prakash, so again, we need to wait to understand some of the nuances that whenever Starlink comes in, what is the frequency at which they need to operate, and what will be this new spectrum. That clearly the minister has said that there's no auction. It will be administratively allocated, because that's the global practice. And he said that India needs to be in sync with the global practice. But it'll come at a cost. It's not going to be handed out for free. How significant do you think this is? Is it too far in the future that we're talking about? Because this seems to be the next frontier.
Good morning, Surabhi. So a couple of things, and this is all on the basis of whatever I've been catching in terms of my reading and talking to some people. This whole think of the administrative allocation of satellite spectrum, which is the global protocol of trade, makes sense in a lot of nations where there are not too many people who are capable of providing this kind of an alternative service. I mean, there's not much of an option. You have smaller nations where it's just been kind of allocated at a price, because there's one agency, one supplier who's kind of made itself capable to do that, and it's just a matter of price between the government and the service provider. In India, Bharti's been working quite a bit on this whole thing. Jio may not have focused on satellite spectrum or satellite broadband yet, but they are a lot into the last mile connectivity, which is going to be a different part of this, which is a different angle to it. So, it makes sense to have a auction-based listing, but it's a government, in the government's wisdom, if they don't want to set a trend or change that and follow the global trend, so be it. But the price hasn't been allocated, as the minister very rightly explained. That's going to be decided by a process which the TRAI is going to follow, and they've outlined some broad principles, nothing very specific yet that you can make out from that. But the next question that Starlink and people like Starlink would have to face is the price right enough or justified if the allocation is made at XYZ price? So I think there are lots of things that you'll need to wait and watch for. But the basic this thing is, the market is massive enough, is huge enough for people to come participate, and still we will have last mile connectivity being listed. In the same breath, at the conference, the minister has also talked about BSNL rolling out 5G by 2025. Now, you can imagine, we are on two sides of the spectrum. Here's a state provider who's looking at that, and then the satellite providers who are coming, wanting to come. So, lots yet to be cleared, Prashant.
Oh yeah, it's something to watch going ahead. But near term tariff hikes are important, right? And the minister also commented on tariffs, the hikes which happened off very low base and need for more. Listen in.
चाहे आप OFC फाइबर की आप बात करो, वही दाम 95% गिरी है। 1 GB डेटा आपके लिए 10 साल पहले 289 रुपीस होता था, आज 8.8 है। 1 मिनट वॉइस कॉल का 51 पैसे होता था, आज 3 पैसे है। और निवेश कितना हुआ है? पिछले 1.5-2 वर्षों में 4G से 5G जाने में करीब 2 वर्षों में 4,26,000 करोड़ का निवेश देश में टेलीकॉम सेक्टर में हुआ है। 10% वृद्धि हुई है दामों में, पर 10% वृद्धि हुई है दामों में मतलब क्या? कि जो 3 पैसे होता था वो अब 3.3 पैसे हो चुका है। और क्या था ये दाम? ये 51 पैसे था। तो जहां निवेश किया जाता है उस निवेश का रिटर्न भी आना जरूरी है, नहीं तो 4G से 5G, 5G से 6G हम लोग नहीं पहुंच पाएंगे।
Prakash, you heard the minister. How should we read this? Just generic comments overall, shows the intent. But is there anything actionable from a stock market point of view?
No, so I think ARPUs keep on, firming up is very clear, and I think his intention is more from this thing on the BSNL expansion that's happening. Focus on tower companies. There is no better way to play this gold rush with the shovels and picks. Kind of this thing. You will find tower companies doing much better, Prashant, given the fact that expansion is something which the government is also very keen on letting happen in terms of price and in terms of geographical representation. So my bet is on tower companies. There are a couple of them which are very efficient, which focus on BSNL. You need to look out for those, and those will definitely play a very phenomenal part in this expansion.
Prakash, thank you very much. Quick conversation this morning. Appreciate you joining in with some of that perspective.